Hi, my name's Joshua Myatt. I'm 19 years old and I work at Bunnings, but I'm aspiring to be a wildlife photojournalist. I've always been interested in wildlife and animals as long as I can remember, watching David Attenborough documentaries when I was younger. But I only got into the photography side of things probably 5 or 6 years ago when I was camping with my dad, and I took some photos on his camera and just found I really enjoyed it, and so it's continued since then. Well, Steve Irwin was so charismatic and made learning about animals easy, so he really encouraged my interest of them early on. And David Attenborough took that further with his videography and allowed me to focus in on the actual photography and videography of the animals itself, which really inspired me to take photos. I like specifically small birds because they've got so much character. They're the most colourful animals and they just have so much personality to go with it, and it's really an accomplishment when you can capture that in a photo. So the major challenges of photographing small birds are, of course, they're quite temperamental. They won't let you get within 5-10 metres of them without flying away, so you have to be very stealthy on your approach with them. Also the weather. Birds prefer quite bright conditions, which can be quite difficult when shooting, as we prefer soft light to shoot in. Which is where we get sunrise is the best time to shoot for small birds because it's when they start to become active. A large part of why wildlife photography appeals to me is its benefits towards wildlife conservation. There's many wildlife photographers I look up to who have made great strides in educating people about the animals because it puts a face to the danger of global warming. And it allows you to sympathise with the problem, and through the sympathy we can get people to make a change. One of my biggest inspirations in photojournalism is a guy called Paul Nicklin. He's a fantastic photographer who uses his stories and photographs to put a face towards climate change so that he can really show people what animals are being affected and display how horrible this change is. He does most of his work in the Arctic and Antarctic, and he's a big inspiration to me for that. I love bird photography especially, not just because of the birds' great personalities and bright colours, but also because of what they represent, how much of an impact they have, that these small birds can have such a big impact in their ecosystem. The main reason I do take the photos of birds is purely from enjoyment. I get a real sense of accomplishment when I'm able to capture that personality from the birds in those fleeting moments. But at the end of the day, I'd love to be able to change that hobby into a career, and there's definitely viable paths with that through photojournalism. So that's my plans for the future. One of the main challenges with small birds is their overall agility. They dart from bush to bush and you need a large lens to focus in on that. And they'll only be there for a second or two, so you have to catch that fleeting moment. One of the things that makes bird photography worth it for me is, while it is very challenging and I can spend 3 to 4 days out shooting and I might only get a few keeper shots, those few shots make it all the more worth it because of how difficult it was to get them. The payoff due to the effort. It's not high volume, I'm not going to get a lot of great photos, but when I do get those ones that just click, it makes it all worth it. So for me to publish a photo, I really need to love it and be proud of it as my own work. It obviously needs to be technically correct, in focus, without blur and of the actual subject that I'm trying to capture, but it also needs to capture the liveliness of the animals, because just a still image that doesn't have any character to it doesn't really evoke anything in an audience. Now, climate change is obviously one of the largest issues we've ever faced and the largest threat to any species on this planet. For example, polar bears, I've always wanted to photograph them, and recent research shows that they could be extinct in just up to 50 to 100 years because of the melting ice caps. Now, we want to preserve our biodiversity on this planet so that future generations don't have to look at pictures of the animals, but they can see them in real life. I don't know if I can really put it into words. It's taking photos of birds. It's simple because you don't have to do anything apart from focusing on what they're doing, which is the real beautiful part about it. Yeah, don't know, man. Making this hard for you, sorry.
Every second, 1.5 acres are cut down. Half the world's tropical rainforests have already been cleared. If the current rate of deforestation continues, there will be no more rainforests in 100 years. More than 12% of currently known species of birds are at the threshold of extinction. Almost 70% of known plant species are on the verge of extinction. 99% of currently threatened species are at risk due to human activities.